the problems for Middlesbrough this season. Suspension added to the mix this evening of the side that started against Portsmouth here last time out. Kevin Thompson is injured. Barry Robson starts a 3-match ban after a red card in that match. So yet again a changed side for Gordon Strachan. On the plus side, Mikhail Tavares, over an illness he picked up on international duty, so he can return to the heart of midfield. Tarmo Kink, the Estonian international, comes in on one flank, Nicky Bailey on the other, and Julio Arca, the fourth change from the side that started here a fortnight ago. Leeds have had a bit of a keeper crisis, both their top two missing, so Jason Brown, on loan from Blackburn, starts his first game for the club. Alex Bruce suspended after a sending off at Ipswich. Paul Connolly fit again, though. He's back after 4 games out. Sanchez Watt is restored after 5 out of the side as well. And Luciano Becchio, left out against Ipswich, is reinstated alongside top scorer David Sommer. Former Sunderland keeper Ben Alnwick was brought in on loan from Spurs for the Leeds United bench. Middlesbrough were hoping Kevin Thompson might be fit enough for a place on their bench, but it was not to be. Well, football loves a character, and football has lost a character this week. Malcolm Ellison, a former manager here at Middlesbrough, and before the match, tribute will be paid to him. Well, even for those of us not quite old enough to remember him in his heyday, it was clear he was a man who knew how to enjoy life. Can Middlesbrough put smiles back on faces in these parts? Certainly a much better atmosphere around these parts than there has been recently. That's largely courtesy of a sold-out allocation of over 4,000 Leeds United fans, and that in turn has drawn out the Middlesbrough supporters for their best attendance here in weeks. Can they match that with a much-missed performance? You do get the feeling there's been a long fortnight of soul-searching for Gordon Strachan. The biggest summer spenders, Middlesbrough, the Tartan Revolution, as they called it on the tees, hasn't really got going. But after an international window, 2 weeks to take stock, is this to be the afternoon that it all gets going again for Middlesbrough?
I think there are times during a season where breaks come at the perfect time, and I think for both these teams, although I do think the onus is more on Middlesbrough here this evening, but for both of these teams, that international break may just have come at the perfect time. Only 1 point from the 3 games prior for Gordon Strachan's men, and Leeds United also suffered back-to-back defeats, so they both want to get those points on the board that will catapult them up that league table. A very, very congested league table.
Chris Boyd wins the header on. Expensively assembled, but goals haven't flowed. Scott McDonald just 1 in the league. Chris Boyd just 2 so far. Luciano Becchio for Leeds, who play in blue here. Sanchez Watt restored to the starting lineup for them. And on loan, George McCartney. It was all about life in the northeast, over 200 games played for Sunderland.
It's positive, isn't it, when you're in the first minute of the game, your left back of the away team is foraging forward.
And so too is Howson, with intent, but not with enough accuracy.
Well, I would have imagined that Leeds United would have been expecting Middlesbrough to start really fast and furious and get at them, but it's actually Leeds that have forced the issue a little bit. Good burst from midfield from Johnny Howson. We know he's capable of that. We've seen him score plenty of goals over the seasons.
Plenty in common for these two clubs in that they've had injury problems recently, key players out as well, and continue to be so today. It's been hard to field a settled lineup. Gordon Strachan still blooding the new players he's brought in. It's a new league, it's easy to forget for Leeds United. 3 long, yawning long years out of the top 2 divisions of football. It's going to take some adjusting, isn't it?
It certainly is. But both of these teams know 6 years ago as Leeds United were a Premier League team. Not that long ago, Middlesbrough, obviously, as you say. Supporters are used to success in these parts, and in Middlesbrough as well. 2004 winning the League Cup, 2006 in the final of the UEFA Cup. It just seems such a long time ago. In actual fact, it ain't that long ago, is it?
2010, 2 places off the bottom of the N-Power Championship, off the bottom 3, I should say. After the earlier matches, that's a situation that presents itself for Gordon Strachan and Middlesbrough. A win for the home side would take them level on points with Leeds United. That's their target. Leeds want to move up into the top half of the table.
You're talking also, aren't you, about just about a quarter of this long championship season has gone. A long way to go.
Routine save for young Luke Steele. Well, that's one of the players I was talking about there, Don. Robert Snodgrass, who's been a key performer for Leeds. It's only his 2nd start of the season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a long, long list of injured players in both clubs as well. In fact, the suspensions into that as well, can't they? Players sent off, players suspended. Robert Snodgrass, all of last season, real integral part of Leeds United's success. And I would imagine Simon Grayson's instructing him to be seeing plenty of that ball. They know they've got Julio Arca at left back, Middlesbrough, and I think Simon Grayson would fancy Robert Snodgrass could cause somebody like Julio Arca a few problems here this evening.
Well, this is the 13th game of the season in all competitions for Middlesbrough. To give you an idea of how unsettled things have been, whether it be through choice or through necessity, 8 different back 4s have been played already this season. Arca among 5 different left backs that they've used. He said he's tried everything, Gordon Strachan, and he's not really selling himself short in that at all.
He certainly isn't. There have been problems at both ends, obviously conceding goals, but Middlesbrough's lack of goals up front as well as meant that's why they're where they are in the championship table. Not the same problems for Leeds, same defensive problems for Leeds United, but they have managed to score plenty of goals. I think before today there was something like the 3rd or 4th top scorers in the league, Leeds United. So that's not the problem. It's at the other end where they've struggled really early in their quest to settle into this championship.
Well, Leeds are knocking it around well on a perfect Riverside pitch, and it has to be said, a perfect Riverside evening for football. It's like chill in the air. McManus, one of several for Middlesbrough, back from international duty. The Australian McDonald. Middlesbrough plot an attack through O'Neill. Tarmo Kink, the Estonian, looking for support.
He's got to do better than that. When the ball's given to you as a wide player and you've got plenty of space, minimum requirement, get the crossing. Can't afford to dwell and give the opposition's left midfielder an opportunity of getting back and tackling you.
McCartney. His loan has been extended till after the match against Cardiff, which comes up for Leeds in about a week's time. Connolly. Misplaced pass. Good pressure on McManus, who has lost out. Luciano Becchio, can he get it to Sommer? Middlesbrough at full stretch but surviving, and now breaking through O'Neill. Collins on the cover.
Well, 1 second you're sensing the nervousness of these Middlesbrough supporters, aren't you? And the next second they're counter-attacking. You're sensing the optimism. It is a roller coaster, that's for sure.
King couldn't get his cross in. Here's Sommer. Tavares and David Wheaton. Angled up towards Boyd. Found Naylor there. And Nicky Bailey coming forward, got it all wrong.
Well, he's a goal-scoring midfielder. We know that from his Charlton days. Hasn't quite settled down at the Riverside yet, but as this ball drops, see what he's trying to do. He's actually trying to side foot that ball and get bend on it. Possibly one of the hardest skills in football.
Well, it's a manager's lot, isn't it, Don? You buy one of the best goal-scoring midfielders in the league below, hoping that they'll continue that upward curve, but it hasn't, as you say, yet quite happened for Nicky Bailey, who's yet to score for his new club.
I don't think there's any disputing. It's always much harder, isn't it, when you go to a new club that, with the greatest of respect, aren't setting the world on fire. If you're slotting into a new club that are playing well and winning matches, very easy to pick up your form early on, but it hasn't been the case for Nicky Bailey and many of Gordon Strachan's summer transfers.
Here is Bailey, starting wide on the left, but with a licence to cut in. And that's left space for Arca. Out by McCartney. Sanchez Watt on loan from Arsenal. And Kink's intervention has only served to encourage Leeds' attack. Sommer. Becchio making ground. Blocked by Wheater. Sommer might yet get it back. Here's McCartney.
It was a full-blooded challenge, wasn't it, and block from Matthew Bates, but once again there's your left back on the edge of the area trying to attack. Full-blooded, isn't it, and Matthew Bates does really well for his team to get that blocking.
First corner of the evening, it's a Leeds United one. Snodgrass will take, short to Watt.
Well, nobody's blown.
It's one of those strange ones.
Andy Fire's just he's just caught the ball. Nobody's offside, no flag's gone up, no referee's whistle. He's just caught the ball. He's saying he heard a whistle. He's saying he heard a whistle. And there's all kinds of confusion, shall we call it.
Well, he's obviously convinced, Andy Fye, that he has heard a whistle from the crowd. It's not impossible that he did, but unfortunately he was the only one.
What does the rule book say about that then? We'll find out.
It's handball. It's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, handball. Lip read.
On the positive side, it was in the opposition box, not his own.
That would have been incredibly interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Bates. Kink. Tavares, hoisted high, but not close enough to any red-shirted teammates. And by McCartney, this is Bailey now for Middlesbrough. Touched on by Boyd. McDonald. Snapshot, surely offside here, Bailey. And up goes the flag.
It's not the closest offside you're ever going to see, is it? Just wants to follow the striking, doesn't he, Nicky Bailey? See him at the top of your screen. Knows his teammate's going to strike the ball. Well offside.
Well, the goal scoring, as you identified, Don, has been a problem for Middlesbrough this season. It has got better, just 2 in their first 5 games. They have at least scored in the last 5. Unfortunately, they've conceded as well. Both these clubs with recent habits of giving leads away. Quite in such dramatic style as Leeds United did at home to Preston when they were 4-1 up and ended up losing 6-4. But in the last home match, Middlesbrough looking comfortable at 2-0, ended up surrendering 2 points to Portsmouth, and it finished 2-2.
Well, going back to Leeds United, I remember Simon Grayson's post-match assessment after that opening day defeat at home to Derby County. Accused his team of being naive, and they've continued to be so, haven't they, through the season? 5-2 away at Barnsley, 6-4 at home at Preston.
Here's Sanchez Watt. Might well favour Sommer. It does! Leeds United lead at Middlesbrough. And it is the man for them who can't stop scoring, David Sommer.
What's that, 7 goals in 9 games this season for David Sommer? And you can see why. I saw this fella for the first time when we covered Doncaster Rovers against Leeds United, and I was very, very impressed. He's always alert and aware in that 18-yard box, and this is a deflected cross. He takes a step back, steadied himself, and he doesn't quite catch this ball as cleanly as he may want to, but it doesn't matter. The direction on the strike, right in the corner, gives Jason Steele absolutely no chance. The goalie's going the opposite way. He can't change direction, but let's give credit to Chris Foy, the referee, as well. You know, he played a really good advantage in the midst of all that.
Well, it's 6 in 8 league games. It's 7 in 10 in all competitions for David Soma.
Very good advantage played, wasn't it? Very, used all his experience. Too often, too quick to criticise referees, aren't we? It's always nice to give them some praise from time to time. Not the start that Gordon Strachan would have wanted, though. Earlier on, a little bit of nervousness around the place anyway.
I'd seen signs of it already, although it hadn't led to a goal-scoring opportunity, with McManus giving it away very cheaply. Just the sort of incident that leads to nervousness.
Well, Leeds settled quicker, plain and simple. They were the ones who were pressing forward a little bit more.
McCartney. Howson will clear. And that's the age-old problems at the back that Middlesbrough haven't been able to iron out since we were here, actually, and they scraped that win against Sheffield United in Gary Speed's first game in charge of the Blades. That was the last time Middlesbrough kept a clean sheet. That was at the end of August. Here we are now, mid-October. None in 8 games since then. Always makes it harder. Gordon Strachan told us in his pre-match interview he felt that the spirit was good, that there was still belief and amount of confidence in the camp. They're certainly going to have all those qualities examined here by Leeds, who have a spring in their step after that goal.
Yeah, they do. They are playing by far and away the more controlled football, Leeds United.
Becchio looking for Soma. Holding off to and winning the corner. He is a player coursing with confidence.
Well, he is, like I said to you. My first glimpse of him just a few weeks ago at Doncaster Rovers, and he missed a hatful of chances on the night, but his movement was constant, always troubling the home defenders that night, and he started tonight in the same vein.
I don't think Andy Fay will be catching this one. In comes the corner. Wheater did well. Danger averted, but not avoided. McCartney a little wayward with his cross. Tavares now for Middlesbrough. McDonald. And here is Fay, snapped up on a 4-month deal as he was a free agent after his release by Stoke last season. And here's McCartney. They all want it. Sommer. McCartney couldn't pick a way through to Sanchez-Watt. This is Scott McDonald. Now O'Neill, space to gallop into. Closed out by Andy Fay.
Well, Leeds are working really hard in the midfield areas to help the defenders. And so far, the start they've made in every aspect, Simon Grayson will be really thrilled with.
Especially when you consider that before the international break they had those back-to-back defeats.
The one thing Middlesbrough will know, though, is that Leeds United are susceptible to conceding goals. That'll be the thing Gordon Strachan will keep emphasising when he gets the opportunity. Middlesbrough will get chances, you feel, in this game.
And we are still very early on in it, worth emphasising. Well, the Leeds game plan clear to see. Let's start strongly, ask questions, get that early goal, see how Middlesbrough respond. Well, are we going to find out here? Bailey up towards Boyd.
Oh, I tell you what, Chris Boyd was receiving extremely close attention, shall we say, as that ball came into the penalty area. Like a really clumsy challenge. I think it was Richard Naylor who was marking him.
He was almost caught in a Naylor-Collins sandwich by the end, wasn't he? Away by O'Neill. Naylor. Connolly loses out to Tavares. O'Neill. A lot of space down this right, and Bates decides to try and use it.
Well, he hasn't got many options, has he? I'm looking at the options that the right back has got as he's bringing that ball forward, and I actually couldn't see any except for turning back and going back. And then, of course, you lose a little bit of momentum.
McDonald, Boyd.
Well, he just got a shot away there, but he felt really aggrieved as Neil Collins clambers. Look at that, he jumps early. The ball isn't actually arriving. And I actually think Neil Collins, look, arms all over Chris Boyd. I think Neil Collins is really lucky, because if Chris Foy sees that, he's probably focusing on the headed clearance from Richard Naylor. But if he sees that, I think he may just give a penalty for that, you know. Got to be careful, haven't you, when you're challenging like that in your own penalty area. Very, very easy for the referee to give a penalty for that.
It's the old legacy of the luck, isn't it? When you're up at the top, you get those sort of breaks. When you're on the sort of run that Middlesbrough are, they tend to get away from you.
Of course, we're nearly 20 minutes in this game, and Chris Boyd's shot a moment ago was possibly the first effort that Middlesbrough have had on target. You know, they're the home team. 20 minutes in, you would have expected them to be forcing the issue a little bit more than they've been able to so far.
It's not to say that Chris Boyd isn't capable of the spectacular goal, because those who watched him at Rangers and in Scottish football will know that he is, but he's more one who thrives on service in the 6-yard box, not outside the 18-yard. Bates. McDonald. Now Boyd. Bailey. Can he get it back to Boyd? He can. Boyd waits for the cavalry to arrive, and it's wide by O'Neill.
Well, he did really well, Chris Boyd, there, because the temptation when you're a real goal scorer like he is to pull the trigger and hope the ball goes through a defender's legs. But it's a good ball in. He gets an opportunity just to have a half-a-yard touch and pull the trigger, but he tees up Gary O'Neill, who really should be hitting the target at the very least from there. He's a player of high quality, Gary O'Neill, and that's a pretty poor effort.
He's also a player who hasn't scored since February. Bailey with the header. This is Connolly. It's come off Julio Arca. Howson. Sanchez Watt has come a-roaming and gets the ball back, very nearly anyway. It's the two wingers combining for Leeds United in the centre of the park. Looked like he was drifting out of favour, Sanchez Watt, after having to make do with contributions from the bench, but there he is for his first start in 6 games. Tavares. O'Neill. Kink.
It's all very tight in there, isn't it? We really tight, and Middlesbrough trying to pick their way through the middle of that Leeds United defence. I just think they need maybe to get their wide players a little wider and just create a little bit more space out there. Haven't really got strikers who are going to really predominantly look to run in behind and turn Leeds United's central defenders. So Leeds can almost read that Middlesbrough want to come inside and play the ball to feet. They need to offer an alternative.
What? Howson. Now Connolly. Snodgrass. Fye. And Sanchez Watt. Trying to get it through to Sommer. Wheater's not having any of that. Nor is Kink, who wins that particular tussle with McCartney.
You can see his frustration though, can't you? He would have been hoping to be playing further up the pitch, getting balls in the opposition's final third and looking to make things happen. It hasn't really happened yet.
We're now at the halfway point of this first half. What will be disappointing for Gordon Strachan is that Jason Brown in the Leeds goal, starting his first game of the season without any sort of match experience recently at the sharp end, although he does have international caps. He's played in the Premier League, hasn't been tested yet at all, really.
No, just that one 35-40 yard effort.
It's more a collection than a save.
It was a collection, yeah. At the moment, from a Middlesbrough perspective, everything just looks a little bit too predictable. Leeds United are probably having a much more comfortable time of it than they would have anticipated prior to kick-off here.
Worth putting into perspective, this is not a Leeds side who've been sweeping all before them away from home by any means. They've only won one of their games away from home. And that was a tight one at Watford. They're certainly having it all their own way at the moment. Bates for Middlesbrough. Hometown boy trying to inject some urgency. Tavares looking for Boyd. That's better. Not quite close enough. But promising signs from Middlesbrough.
Yeah, that is better. Good build-up, isn't it? It's the right-back Bates who gets forward, allows Tavares to get the ball into an area a little bit too high. Nevertheless, a little bit more encouraging than what has gone before.
Well, he told us before, didn't he? This might be the day. The day might come next week, might come the week after. You never know when a turning point is going to come. And certainly with Middlesbrough away form among the poorest in this league, you would think green grass of home represents the best opportunity of turning it round. Difficult away trips to come as well. Nottingham Forest and Norwich in the space of the week following this one.
I think 4 of Middlesbrough's next 6 away games in this league are away from home, and when you look at their real poor away record, you really do have to be picking up points here at the Riverside.
Which is what they've done so far. 10 of their 11 have come here. And they're still seeking their way in this contest. Kink. Clever little ball into McDonald here. Boyd was licking his lips, but the cutback was a little too close to the defender. They do have their first corner, though.
Well, that was the best situation by far. Scott McDonald finds himself. It's clever movement. He looks, makes a little square run and gets himself in, but maybe the run of the 2 strikers or the 2 players in the box was a little flat. Maybe one of them needed to be pulling deeper to make that ball easier for him.
Well, McManus up from the back. Here's O'Neill. And having developed the situation, it was then promptly squandered. Tavares needed to be well positioned to get that right. He did. McManus, Wheater. McDonald. Nicky Bailey. Bates. A nudge in the back of O'Neill.
I spoke earlier, didn't I, about the options Middlesbrough have got when they're on the ball in midfield areas further forward, or lack of options, and I think that's possibly because you look at Tavares, he's sat so deep, he's almost on top of his central defender's toes. And he's one, and then you've got the fullbacks maybe not pushing on.
This is Bailey, though, who can strike one and forces the first real save from Brown.
Well, it is the first real save, but you watch, he's always in control of this, isn't he, Jason Brown? Handling practice again. Leeds United will be quite happy if Middlesbrough have to continue shooting from 30-35 yards.
Tavares on. And Bailey has off one in there on Connolly. Might well get a talking to at the very least, maybe even the first card.
Well, I think Paul Connolly's reaction to that is admirable. I think he has saved Nicky Bailey, although it's innocuous, isn't it, more than anything. I don't think there's anything sinister in that. Just catches him on the foot. You don't really want to see yellow cards for that. But a good reaction from Paul Connolly anyway, made sure that we didn't see a yellow card.
We'll see a free kick, though, which Connolly will take towards Becchio. Arca didn't get it quite right. Neither Tavares. Nothing under for Becchio to chase. Argentinian duel there between Luciano Becchio and Julio Arca.
It's so naive, isn't it? Becchio's going nowhere, and you know, with the greatest of respect, it's not going to take much for Luciano Becchio to go down if you're a defender and you're at his back. That's what he's looking for. He's got absolutely nowhere to go. So naive defending.
Another chance for Leeds to play on Middlesbrough insecurities. That was a good header away by Wheater. Connolly. Naylor stayed forward. It was Bates who got the telling touch away at the expense of a corner, though.
That's good defending. They were queuing up behind him, weren't they? To get ahead on that. Just a mini storm that Middlesbrough need to weather. Leeds United asking the questions again. A long way back from 2-0 down.
And by Snodgrass, it's Boyd to meet it at the near post. Middlesbrough can reorganise and push out. Connolly. Lovely for Snodgrass. And Sanchez-Watt looking for the corner. It's going to be a kick of the goal variety. Spanish football for you tonight. Barcelona against Valencia, a table-topping tussle from 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 4. And Malaga against Real Madrid from 9 o'clock, also on Sky Sports HD 4 and 4. $4,075 was Leeds United's allocation for this one. Every single ticket sold, and most of the noise here at the Riverside at the moment coming from that area of the ground. Kink. Oh, Boyd! Don't think that cross was intended, but it very nearly worked out very well.
Well, Gordon McQueen came up here and told us before kick-off that the boy Kink on this right-hand side likely to smash one in from 30 yards. That's what he's trying to do, but as it turns out, actually ends up as a decent cross for Chris Boyd, who's actually really aware, and that, I have to tell you, is a very decent effort from Chris Boyd. I'm not sure he realises that that was a shot, you know. I think he's saying dink it a bit more. And it was a shot, Chris, and he did well to adjust his body and get that almost on target.
He's been on target twice this season in 10 games. A 1 in 5 ratio is usually a lot better than that, Chris Boyd. Well, Watts has caught a painful one in the centre circle. The referee let it go, but treatment will be required.
It was Tarmo King, wasn't it, just apologising.
George McCartney has also got a problem. He's come over to the bench. Let's have another look at that challenge for you.
It's very late, isn't it? Very late. Chris Foy sees that as well. It's a little swing, and it's naughty, you know, really tackling like that with your studs showing. I know that Chris Foy played a good advantage and tried to play an advantage as he played an advantage in the actual goal itself, but this is Snodgrass coming in, and McManus fouls him there. Easy for Chris Foy to give that. Plays a good advantage, and David Sommer and Leeds United take full advantage of that situation. But Sommer's awareness, he guides that ball in. I said before, not the cleanest of strikes, but the accuracy. Sees it hit the back of the net.
Well, the question marks, or one of them for Leeds, was who was going to step up and fill the void left by the departure of Jermaine Beckford. We got the answer, certainly in the early season, David Sommer. As we told you a moment ago, George McCartney not in a good way. I'll let you know what the problem is. Could well have been suffering from the bug that has been in and around the Leeds United camp. Either way, what is for sure is that he is not going to continue here. Andy Hughes will come on. One change required. Is there going to be another? Sanchez Watt still feeling the effects of that heavy challenge, and unconvinced by the Estonia Tarmo Kink's apologies as well.
Well, it wasn't a great tackle. It was a poor tackle, and it should have seen yellow for sure.
If it is terminal in terms of this match for Sanchez Watt, it's a real shame. He's, as we told you earlier, only just got back into the side. Would be hoping, with the games coming thick and fast, to get a run in it. We've just had a word with the Leeds bench. We can confirm it is an illness, the reason for George McCartney's early departure. And that's a foul. The reason for that free kick, Julio Arca.
Well, everybody's complaining at the moment, aren't they? Arca's complaining, Snodgrass complaining.
Well, there is more movement on that Leeds bench, which doesn't look too good for Sanchez Watt's continued participation. Arca Rosewell, back in by Howson. Again Arca to meet it. Here's Boyd, clever touch for McDonald. Scott McDonald scoots forward here for Middlesbrough. And plenty of blue shirts back now, and possession lost. Ran out of momentum and out of ideas, little Scott McDonald.
I think that sums up the first 35 minutes or so of Middlesbrough's start to this match. I don't think they look convincing in their movement going forward, or the options that they're giving each other. It needs to be better decision-making. Poor decision-making there, and absolutely nothing at this stage of proceedings that he can do about it, precisely for about another 10 minutes.
How much of that, Don, is down to a side just lacking confidence?
I think a lot. I just think that, you know, they'd lost the 2 away games on the trot, and they came here, they got themselves 2-0 up, in a strong position against Portsmouth, and conceded 2 goals, ended up drawing. It must have felt like a defeat. And obviously Leeds United took it to Middlesbrough from the very, very first kick of this game, put them on the back foot, and that has left them looking a little bit fragile to me.
Bailey. Tavares. And there'd be a real tonic for Middlesbrough if they could force a way back into this contest before half-time.
This is a real problem for them. They just have not got any width, and their wide players, both wide players, keep coming inside. Sometimes it takes a wide player to get on the ball and have the confidence to take on a fullback and go down the outside. When you keep coming inside, you're coming into the strength of the opposition, and that, for me, is what Middlesbrough are doing every single time, and it's getting predictable.
Snodgrass, the victim of a foul there, which means that the switch can be made. A second in quick succession forced on Simon Grayson. Well, let's hope it's not too serious for Sanchez. What as a result of that rather crude challenge?
Well, it is a crude challenge. There's the studs. And for me, he knows what he's doing, King. I don't think that's clumsy. I think that's quite malicious, to be honest with you.
The two players that started off as Leeds United's left side both have to go off in the space of 5 minutes. New fullback, new player playing on the left side of midfield, but Bradley Johnson, that's a brief that he's more than capable of filling. Likewise, Andy Hughes as fullback.
Because Leeds United are so comfortable in this match, you don't actually see that as a problem at this moment in time. If they were under pressure, it may well have been much more of a problem for Simon Grayson and his men.
This time Boyd does get the decision.
Well, to me, Chris Boyd is clever. Uses his body, backs into the defender, which leaves him no option. Look, there's Chris Boyd backing in, and that should be a free kick to the defender. All about interpretation.
Well, will that little bit of fortune favour Middlesbrough in terms of a way back into the match?
Looks like King.
He fancies it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he strikes it, but well over into the Leeds United supporters behind the goal.
It's been frustrating first half, hasn't it?
Well, 10 days short of 1 year in charge for Gordon Strachan. Steve Gibson, the chairman, the chief executive, Keith Lamb alongside him. And Steve Gibson got rid of Gareth Southgate. They were 4th in the championship, just 1 point off the summit. They finished last season 11th, their lowest finish for 20 years, and 40 points off the champions. And here they are now, just a couple of points off the drop zone and trailing what is effectively a derby match for them, in that Leeds at the moment are their closest geographical rivals, even though they're 66 miles away. McManus, Wheater. Tink. That's Bates. O'Neill.
It's all very tight, isn't it? I'm going to give credit to Leeds United for that.
McDonald. This hasn't worked out for him so far this afternoon. Without a goal in 6 games, it's his worst drought for 4 years since he was a Motherwell player. It's uncharted territory for a lot of these players who are used to success. That, Gordon Strachan will tell you, is the reason that he brought them down from the old firm clubs. They're used to winning. Same token, not altogether used to it when things are going against them, as they are at the moment, you could say. This This is Arca. Tavares. Looked like a handball, hasn't been given though. And Sommer might capitalise.
Oh, look at Becchio. Becchio having words with David Sommer. There's an opportunity for the striker to roll his strike partner in. And can you really criticise him when you're a man in this kind of goal scoring? Look at Becchio there. He can roll it a couple of yards in front of him, and he would be one-on-one. And Leeds may well be 2 up.
Here's Kink. He was against 3, now he's just against 2. No immediate backup to help him out.
But once again, there's a left-footed player not wanting to go down the outside, and once again I use the words predictable.
O'Neill. There's Andy Fay. Portsmouth connection as he's up against Gary O'Neill. Johnson has given it away though to Julio Arca. Tries to get it in the mix. O'Neill trying to get in there. But then not quite working out for Middlesbrough.
And Gary O'Neill goes flying into the advertising audience here, doesn't he? Lee Johnson. Well, there is a little push there, isn't there? And that is, well, it's madness. Plain and simple. Absolute. I don't know what goes through players' minds at times. I was looking in that last Middlesbrough attack, you know, and there were 4 red shirts marking 2 Leeds United strikers. And for me, that says the balance is slightly wrong. Middlesbrough should be committing one of those 4 a little bit further forward. That would in turn give them a few more attacking options that they so far don't seem to have.
Bailey. Scott McDonald. O'Neill. And McDonald. Kink able to keep it alive. Now Bates. Decent run from Bates and earning the corner off Collins.
You get an end result, don't you, when you run at them and try going down the outside. You try to get a cross in, and at the very least you need to get a corner from it, and that's precisely what's just happened. And this may be the way things have panned out in the first half, the best opportunity Middlesbrough have got of scoring a goal in this match so far.
O'Neill with the corner. Boyd, he might have got a bigger touch on it.
I think it was Wheater, you know. Central defender was in there.
Leeds United have stolen it back, and they are throwing bodies forward as well. Howson saying where he wants it. And a foul right under the nose of the referee. Didn't like the challenge from Wheater, Chris Foy.
There was another opportunity for Leeds United. Just launches in there, the big centre-half, doesn't he? He doesn't get the ball, clearly upends Robert Snodgrass. And David Sommer had an opportunity, made a poor run that went into the space, because Leeds had a really encouraging counter-attack going there. Just closed the space up for his teammates by making that run.
Wheater out and caught late by Naylor. McDonald caught in possession. Free kick's been given for that.
He played another good advantage, Chris Foy, because David Wheater was fouled. He was going to blow for that, saw that it went to McDonald. Just allowed Middlesbrough to take advantage of that further up the pitch.
This will probably be the last chance in the first half for Middlesbrough to claw their way back into this. O'Neill, well defended by Collins. Well, more woe for Middlesbrough. Will it be joy on the road for Leeds United? Plenty for Gordon Strachan to ponder at half-time as he trails to his former club. David Sommer's goal, the top scorer, top man for Leeds United in the first half, making no mistake. And it's Leeds who lead at half-time.